The Watergate scandal is one of the most notorious political events in American history. It led to the resignation of President Richard Nixon and forever changed the landscape of U.S. politics. This is the story of how a simple break-in at the Democratic National Committee headquarters unraveled a conspiracy that went to the highest levels of the American government. The Watergate complex, an unassuming office building, became the epicenter of a political scandal that shook the nation to its core. On the night of June 17, 1972, 5 men were arrested for breaking into the Democratic National Committee headquarters at the Watergate complex in Washington, D.C. The burglars were caught red-handed with sophisticated wiretapping equipment and large sums of cash. Their mission was to install listening devices and photograph confidential documents. The break-in appeared to be a simple case of political espionage, but it soon became clear that it was part of a much larger scheme. News of the break-in made headlines the next day, but the true significance of the event was not yet understood. As the investigation unfolded, it was discovered that the burglars had tied to the Committee to Re-elect the President, or CREEP, a fundraising organization for President Nixon's 1972 re-election campaign. This connection raised suspicions about the involvement of higher-ups in the Nixon administration. The investigation quickly moved beyond the initial break-in, as evidence of a larger conspiracy began to emerge. The FBI uncovered a trail of money that led back to the highest levels of the Nixon administration, including top aides and advisors. Journalists Bob Woodward and Carl Bernstein of The Washington Post played a crucial role in uncovering the truth. Their relentless investigative reporting, guided by an anonymous source known as Deep Throat, revealed a series of illegal activities and abuses of power by the Nixon administration.
We knew that something big was going on, but we had no idea just how deep the rabbit hole went.
The more we dug, the more we realized that this was about more than just a break-in. This was about a systematic abuse of power at the highest levels of government.
Their reporting led to a series of explosive articles that kept the story in the public eye and increased pressure on the Nixon administration. In 1973, the Senate Watergate Committee began televised hearings to investigate the break-in and subsequent cover-up. Millions of Americans tuned in as witnesses, including former White House counsel John Dean, testified about a widespread conspiracy orchestrated by the Nixon administration.
I began by telling the president that there was a cancer growing on the presidency and that if the cancer was not removed, the president himself would be killed by it.
The hearings revealed shocking details about the extent of the cover-up, including the existence of a secret slush fund used to finance the break-in and other illicit activities. The most damning evidence came in July 1974, when the Supreme Court ordered President Nixon to release tape recordings of conversations held in the Oval Office. Among these tapes was the infamous smoking gun tape, which revealed Nixon's direct involvement in the cover-up and his attempts to obstruct justice.
I want you all to stonewall it. Let them plead the Fifth Amendment, cover up or anything else if it'll save it. Save the plan.
The release of the tapes left no doubt about Nixon's involvement and led to a dramatic shift in public opinion. Facing certain impeachment and removal from office, Nixon's support in Congress crumbled. The House Judiciary Committee approved articles of impeachment, charging Nixon with obstruction of justice, abuse of power, and contempt of Congress.
I have never been a quitter. To leave office before my term is completed is abhorrent to every instinct in my body. But as president, I must put the interests of America first. Therefore, I shall resign the presidency effective at noon tomorrow.
On August 9, 1974, Richard Nixon became the first U.S. president to resign from office. Vice President Gerald Ford was sworn in as the 38th President of the United States, pledging to heal the nation. 1 month after taking office, President Ford granted Nixon a full pardon for any crimes he may have committed while in office. The pardon was highly controversial, but was intended to help the nation move forward. The Watergate scandal led to significant changes in American politics and governance. It spurred reforms aimed at increasing transparency and accountability, such as the War Powers Act and amendments to the Freedom of Information Act. Watergate also had a lasting impact on public trust in government. It reinforced the importance of a free press and the need for robust checks and balances to prevent abuse of power. The legacy of Watergate endures, shaping how we understand power, integrity, and the essential role of truth in American democracy.